Rai was a pathetic loser born in a world where everyone is judged based on their ability to control magical dolls known as automations. Everything changes one day when his entire family is killed in a massacre. But he manages to survive and is found by a mysterious woman who gives him the strongest automation doll in the world, and he immediately leaves in the journey to find the murderer, which takes him to a prestigious academy where the mysterious killer is hiding. On the way to the academy, he wakes up from a dream only to find his horny-ass humanoid doll trying to manipulate him into reaching second base. But Rai is a total Sigma male and tells her to back off as he is on a grind and wants to become the strongest puppeteer in the world. Suddenly, the train jerks violently, causing the little girl in their cabin to fall. But Rai saves her, while the train starts shaking dangerously. Everyone comes out of their cabins worried and clearly realizes that there is something wrong, as the train was supposed to stop at the station. But it missed it, and the speed keeps increasing. Rai realizes that the next station is going to be the last, and if they don't stop, then the train will crash and none of them would be able to survive. He immediately tells Yaya to figure out a way to stop the train, and she quickly jumps out and climbs on top of the roof before running away. Yaya manages to find the emergency brakes and pushes them with all her strength, but the train is too fast to stop now. Rai also arrives and claims that they have no choice but to manually stop the train. They again run up the roof of the train as if they were playing Subway Surfers, and after scoring a bunch of points, they reach the front end of the train while the train starts entering the station. Yaya immediately jumps down and pushes against the train like Spider-Man, trying to stop it, while Rai uses his magic to help her as it starts getting derailed from behind. Thankfully, they manage to stop the train right at the last moment in a huge cloud of dust, as Rai comes out and asks whether Yaya is alright. Fortunately, none of the passengers got hurt, and soon they move on their way to reach the Royal Academy, where only the most talented students of magic and doll making are given a place. She hugs him and claims that she wants to stay by his side forever. But Rai simply tells her to maintain some distance, as she is only a tool of revenge for her and nothing else. Yaya really likes Sigmas though, and tells him that she would still love him, and together they go inside the academy. The sun starts setting soon while she still waits for Rai to come out of the staff room with the results of his tests. But when he comes out, she immediately realizes that something is not right. He doesn't say anything and hands her the result before moving ahead, and she is shocked to see that he has been ranked at 1200. Which is very low for the amount of effort and training he put in. She tries to console him, but he looks down, frustrated, as Yaya is one of the best dolls in the entire kingdom, and yet he isn't skilled enough to use her to her full potential. Suddenly, a woman with two massive jiggly plots emerges from the staff room and tells Rai that she is Professor Kim and will be his class teacher alongside teaching him mechanical physics. Rai seems lost at the sight of this MILF's mommy milkers, as she tells him that if he wants to get a better rank, he must start studying like his life depended on it. Otherwise, there is no way he could ever get better. But Rai seems more interested in the competition known as the evening party. Kim seems surprised to hear it from him and claims that he shouldn't even think about the evening party, as only the top 100 rankers are invited to that competition, where they fight against each other with their automation dolls to be the last one standing. Rai claims that he wants her help to get into that competition, but Kim tells him that it would be nearly impossible, and one little misstep can cost Rai his life. He tells her not to worry, as he has played a lot of Fortnite like a total degenerate, and claims that he wants to be the last one standing so he can reach the rank known as the Wiseman. Kim can understand the goal, as Wiseman gets special attention from all the girls and is allowed to read all the forbidden books on advanced dolls, and any army would pay a shit ton of money to have them as their leader. She claims that this school has been created to find people with excellent puppeteering abilities to send them in the military forces, and the people in the evening party are the best of the best. She tells him that he can't survive the battle with his current skills and walks away with her thick assets. Rai decides to return to bed for the day and finds the boys' dorm before laying down on the bed, as he tells Yaya that if they want any chance of getting into the evening party, they must follow Kim's advice closely, as she is the only one who could help them. Yaya, the thirsty hoe, doesn't seem to be listening and jumps in to give him the Quack Quack 2000. The next morning, he wanders outside the dorm and finds a blonde bitch named Char, who is also a new student just like him, but is ranked much higher and has a direct pass to the evening party. Everyone is scared of her, as she has already sent 5 seniors to the hospital for looking at her, and threw her roommate out of the window for not putting the toilet seat up while peeing. Char asks what the hell does he want from him, and Rai openly challenges her to a duel for her position in the evening party. This creates a lot of gossip all over the school as people are very curious to find out which idiot has decided to fight against the final boss for no reason. Both Char and Rai enter the battlefield where she starts shit-talking to him as if she was in a Call of Duty lobby, claiming that he has a Microsoft whiner which doesn't even work. Rai snaps back by claiming that it worked on her mother, which enraged her, and she calls forth her dragon named Sig, which immediately turns into a giant beast. She laughs at Rai for being the lowest ranked individual in the entire school and claims that he must have the brain cells of a broken coffee table to challenge her. Before their battle could begin though, Rai senses someone coming their way, and dodges out of the way as a morning star shoots past him and hits the dragon on the chest. Char isn't bothered by this and tells Rai that there are several retards who think they can defeat her and tells him to step aside while she deals with these idiots first, and then she will deal with Rai. Suddenly a knight on a horse runs through the smoke and jumps up in the sky before attacking the dragon with his sword. But the dragon's skin is very thick, and he simply swats it away without any issue. Immediately after, a weird Tesla bot jumps towards Char and converts its arms into long spikes before attacking the dragon head-on. Again, the dragon has no problem taking all this damage as he simply smacks the Tesla bot away as well. The fight soon gets problematic, though, as she gets attacked by a weird water doll who starts waterboarding them, while a snowman doll uses his ice machine stolen from McDonald's to start freezing the water completely. Char still keeps her composure and tries to hold her ground when a flying doll starts using its wings to try and blast the dragon away. But they manage to stand their ground and use a fire blast to scare the doll away. But their troubles have not ended yet as a big robot mecha attacks the dragon and punches it hard, blasting Char off the dragon's back. The mecha again tries to finish her off, but this time Yaya blocks the punch with an incredible ease while Rai catches the shaken Char in his arms. Suddenly, a bunch of students come out of the dust, telling Rai to back off as Char is their enemy to deal with. But Rai tells them to back off as he has challenged her to an official duel first without attacking her like a bunch of pussies. Yaya immediately stands beside Rai to make sure he stays safe when suddenly a hidden student uses an explosion magic on Rai, completely covering everything in fire and smoke. But as it clears, Rai and Yaya emerge from it without a scratch to shock every single person in the area. Rai decides to finish these assholes first, so he rushes towards the guy and his doll that exploded him, and Yaya immediately lands a liver punch, knocking the doll to the floor, before rushing towards the Tesla sex bot who tries to attack them, but Yaya blocks the kick, while Rai grabs the leg and karate chops her on the neck, knocking her out. Yaya keeps moving forward and engages with the snowman doll while Yaya fights against the water doll. Finally, Char decides to stand up once again and tells her dragon to charge up a magic blast which causes hellfire to rain over all of them. Char then looks towards Rai and tells him that they should continue their duel. But Rai surprisingly replies that he is done for the day and will deal with her some other day. She tries to stop him, but Rai uses a smoke bomb to escape the area, while Yaya calls him a coward for not fighting against her. Her dragon Sig, however, has a different thought as he calls Char, claiming that Rai saw that he was injured badly, and that's why he avoided fighting a battle right now. The next morning, Rai and Yaya both join Char on the breakfast table, which Yaya doesn't really like as she feels like a side bitch now. But Rai doesn't seem to care as he asks Sig the dragon about how he is feeling now. Suddenly, he senses the presence of someone and looks outside the window to see an ugly-ass man walking by with a bunch of people around him, which gives Rai PTSD as he remembers a bloody past. Anger sweeps over him as he screams at Yaya to follow him, and they jump out the window towards the ugly masked man, while Char shouts at him to stop as he will die if he tries to challenge that man. Char immediately jumps out after him, but she is too late as Rai is already present in front of the masked bastard blocking his way, while two dolls stand in front of him, blocking his path to reach the tall man. Rai again gets PTSD as he remembers how desperately he entered his house to find everything burning. His parents dead while this masked bastard named Mag held on to the body of his dead sister. Mag simply walks past Rai, but he stops the tall man, claiming that he has traveled from the opposite end of the world just to find Mag. Mag doesn't seem to want any problems and claims that he doesn't know what Rai is talking about and starts walking. But Rai smiles and takes out a small jar, claiming that it's a gift for Mag. Before he could even move, he gets surrounded by 6 dolls who put their sharp scythes on his throat, drawing blood, while Yaya is shocked to see their quickness. Char watches from a distance, wondering why the hell would the lowest ranked idiot of the school try to go against the top ranked student who is a total prodigy and can control 6 dolls at once. Rai doesn't seem to be scared, though, as he smiles and claims that the dolls can be called back since this is actually just a gift for Mag. He motions to the dolls, who immediately get away from Rai, while Rai gives him the jar. Mag stiffly thanks Rai and moves on, while Yaya apologizes to Rai for not being able to do anything to protect him even while being there. That night, Rai remembers how quickly he got surrounded by Mag's dolls and realizes that he is no match against him and needs to get better before even dreaming to stand against a prodigy like Mag. The next morning, he walks through the hallways with Yaya when they get stopped by Felix, the blonde disciplinary officer, who greets Rai warmly and asks whether he would like to cut a deal with him. Rai refuses, claiming that he doesn't trust people like him, and walks off. But Felix tells him that he can help him enter the evening party, which stops Rai in his tracks. Felix realizes that Rai is interested now, so he tells him to meet after school and leaves for his classes. Rai also goes on to his class where Kim teaches them, but Rai's attention is only on her Jigglypuffs while she moves around. Later that evening, he goes on to meet Felix in his office, where the blondie tells him about the case of 26 missing students in the last year alone, alongside several cases of destroyed automation dolls. He shows him the pictures of the half-eaten dolls, which scares Yaya, while Felix explains that there is a cannibal automation doll known as the Cannibal Candy, and he wants Rai to find it and bring it to justice. He tells Rai that he is a freshman, which means that he can't be the Cannibal Candy, and secondly, he is very strong as shown by his fighting skills against the pussy boys who attacked Char. Suddenly, the gate opens and a beautiful nerd named Liz walks in, claiming that there has been another attack by the Cannibal Candy. Rai immediately rushes to the scene, only to find the destroyed doll surrounded by a bunch of students, including Char. Felix takes Rai closer to the doll, where he notices that the heart of the doll has been taken out from its body, which is a terrible way to die. Felix looks at Rai and asks whether he would help them stopping this mindless killing, and Rai finally agrees, claiming that he would investigate in his own ways and leaves. On the way back to his dorm, he is stopped by Liz, who claims that she wants to talk in private. Rai sends Yaya back to the dorm and finds a large maze hoping to get a sloppy top, but Liz simply wanted to talk about the case. She tells him to be careful around Char because her automation is a banned doll, which was created using parts of a real living organism, which clearly goes against the magical law. Moreover, Sig has been passed down through Char's family, and according to history, Sig has created a lot of death and destruction in the past. Rai asks what is she trying to say, and Liz tells him to just be careful, as they currently suspect that the Cannibal Candy is also a banned doll user who has gone berserk. A couple of days pass by without any incident, when one morning Char approaches him to discuss about the threat of Cannibal Candy, as she can't seem to figure it out on her own. Rai decides to turn it into a date, hoping to reach second base, and leaves for the nearby town where they have fun the entire day while walking back towards the academy. Rai tells Char that he has only controlled an automation doll for the last 2 years, which really surprises her, as usually the puppeteers practice since their childhood in order to gain control. Rai claims that he still can't control Yaya completely, and that's why he uses his own martial arts skill as well to fight alongside her. Char laughs at this, but their moods swiftly change when they enter the academy gates and sense that there is something wrong. Rai gets super scared as he realizes that the Cannibal Candy has probably striked again and rushes back to the dorm to make sure Yaya is alright. He stops on the way to find Felix and a bunch of other students standing around the crime scene as Rai pushes past everyone in a panic to find out who got hurt. Fortunately, it wasn't Yaya, but the water doll that he recently fought against, whose heart has been completely destroyed. He immediately rushes back to his dorm only to find Yaya sitting and waiting for him. He apologizes for leaving her alone, while she cries about how sad she was to see him go out with another girl. He knows that like any other La girl, this woman is also a gold digger, so he gives her a new pair of boots, which makes her happy once again. After this, he tells her about the Cannibal Candy attack, claiming that it was timed too well to be a coincidence. The Cannibal Candy decided to attack on the only day when neither Rai nor Char were inside the academy, which reminds her of Liz's suspicions of Sig. He realizes that Sig can very easily destroy the hearts of any doll and asks Yaya about where he was today. She looks confused and tells him that she came back to the dorm, so she doesn't have any idea about that, but claims that the dolls need their masters around to get their magic powers. Rai thinks about it, but tells her that Sig is not any normal doll, but a band doll, which means that it can generate a little bit of magic energy on its own as well. Suddenly, they get a call from Liz, who asks whether Char is with them as she hasn't returned back to the dorm. This worries Rai, so he decides to head out to find the stupid bitch, but he ends up running into a beautiful MILF with massive melons. She turns out to be Shoko, the master craftsman who created Yaya. She enters his dorm and tells him to be very careful, as this Cannibal Candy is much stronger than Rai believes. According to her, the entire army has been looking for this criminal for a while now, but can't seem to locate him. She then calls Yaya to her side and uses her magic to unlock all the potential hidden inside her. She tells Rai that Yaya is one of the strongest dolls alive, and he must get strong enough to control her. She also tells him to be careful as Yaya is not invincible and Sig with his fire beam can easily take out Yaya's heart, which would kill her. Moreover, she informs Rai that Yaya is weak against wind and water magic, so they should be careful against that. Rai thanks Shoko for her help and runs outside along with Yaya to find out where Char is. Shoko sits back and smiles, remembering how she found Rai on the brink of death after his entire family was massacred and his house burned to the ground. She went up to him and offered him Yaya, her newest creation and one of the strongest dolls in existence, and offered him a chance at revenge against the murderers of his family. Rai's thirst for revenge is still just as high as he runs across the forests to try and find Char when he runs into Liz, who claims that everyone in the disciplinary committee is trying to look for her as they found a bunch of illegal things in her dorm. Rai tells her that he wants to talk, and since he is helping them, Liz agrees to it and they enter a special facility where a bunch of old dolls are kept. He leaves Yaya outside while Liz takes him inside and starts chatting him up. When Rai suddenly starts suspecting that there is something wrong with everything that's happening today, and this is an inside job. He takes his chances and grabs the key out of Liz's hand and rushes towards the old capsules containing the dolls and opens one with the key. To his surprise, he spots the dead body of Liz floating inside, which makes him realizes that Liz herself is a band doll. Before he could recover from his initial shock though, Liz bitch slaps him to the ground, before kicking his balls into a pulp, damning his future generations while handing him over to the guards, claiming that Rai is involved with the cannibal candy. She also tells them to beat the shit out of Yaya as she cannot derive any powers without the presence of Rai nearby. While this was happening, Char was searching through the forests for any sign of the murderer when she spots a creepy doll sitting alone inside the clearing. This makes her believe that this might be the cannibal candy, and she immediately uses Sig to attack the doll, locking it in place as she runs towards the doll. Suddenly, Felix appears out of nowhere and stops her, claiming that he put the doll out as a bait to catch the cannibal candy, and accuses her of being the murderer as they found a bunch of doll hearts in her dorm. She is utterly shocked at this. Meanwhile, Rai is brought out bruised and battered as Kim realizes that his ribs have been broken, while Yaya lies there bloody and unconscious on the floor. Kim realizes that there is something wrong with all this, when suddenly Yaya starts glowing like a lava lamp, scaring everyone as they dodge out of the way, scared that Yaya will pull an Oppenheimer on them. Meanwhile, in the forest, Felix watches the bright light coming from the direction of Liz and tells everyone in his team to head over to the area, as he can deal with Char himself. Everyone leaves while Felix smiles at her, thanking her for taking the blame, as he reveals that he is the cannibal candy himself and wanted to frame her as the murderer and have Rai kill her in combat. But unfortunately, Rai was too nosy and was close to figuring out the truth. Char realizes that something must have happened to Rai as well, and drops to the floor in shock while Felix shoots an ice spear at her. But Sig blocks the strike and gets injured instead. He begs her to use him against the enemy, but she is too shocked to even move, while Felix uses his doll to try and finish her off. To his surprise, Yaya blocks the spear with ease, while an injured Rai tells him that he won't let him pin the blame on the innocent Char, and challenges him to a fight to death. He remembers about his recent discovery that Char belongs to a family of nobles that were stripped of their title and power because one of their dog automation dolls ended up biting a boy of a very high-status noble family. Because of that, Char's family was stripped of their rank and title, and most of her family members mysteriously disappeared while she was also thrown out of the boarding school she used to attend. Ever since then, she has been saving money from her scholarship and buying hearts of the dolls that were dismantled so that one day she can create automations that look like her family. This story really touched Rai, and there was no way that he would let anyone hurt Char now. Felix tries to act coy and tells Rai that he should not oppose Felix because Char is the cannibal candy and must be punished. But Rai tells the sissy to shut up as he has seen Char fight against multiple opponents before, and she made sure to never hurt the dolls in an irreparable way, which is very hard considering Sig's considerable strength. Felix realizes that Rai won't be convinced anymore, and gets ready to fight, while Rai boosts Yaya's energy output and sends her to attack Liz, who is Felix's automation doll. Yaya rushes at the speed of light and manages to punch Liz aside, breaking her mask down before returning back to Rai. Char is shocked to see Liz as an automation doll, but Sig tells her to calm down as Liz was definitely murdered and her body used to create a doll instead. Rai realizes that Liz still has bits and pieces of her original human mind remaining, so he tells Felix to shut his ugly-ass femboy mouth up and asks Liz whether she can step aside and let them deal with Felix, as he doesn't believe that Liz is guilty of any crimes here, since she was controlled by Felix. To his surprise, Liz seems to be totally corrupted as she tells Rai that she has started to like the taste of doll hearts and will continue to hunt them down. Rai looks sad at this, but decides to eliminate Liz alongside Felix. He powers Yaya up, who immediately rushes towards Liz at an incredible speed, while Liz decides to fire a bunch of metal spikes at her. Yaya is too quick though and easily dodges all her strikes before jumping up in the air, but it's of no use as she comes down with a massive kick, which forces Yaya to use her water magic to reposition. Both Char and Rai realize that this spell belonged to one of their opponents when they got attacked, and Rai realizes that Liz can probably use any spell of the doll she eats. Felix laughs at Rai, claiming that he doesn't really have any skills and is simply using Yaya to brute force himself to victory. Rai gets distracted by this, and Liz takes advantage by shooting ice spears at him. Rai manages to block and deflect most of the spears, but ends up getting hit by one of them. He drops to his knees while Yaya tries to make sure he is fine, but he tells her to focus on the fight and uses another magic spell, which strengthens his automation, who runs at Liz and starts attacking her full force, while she tries to defend against this barrage of strong attacks, even though Yaya is the stronger doll. Felix is much more experienced and uses his tactics to outplay Rai and Yaya. While Yaya was confused about her next move, Liz ends up using another volley of ice spears aimed at Rai. But this time all of them are stopped by Yaya, who shows an incredible speed and tenacity, surprising Felix with her skills. Felix decides to end the fight quickly, and Liz immediately pulls out a flail from her ass and bitch slaps Rai across the face. While Rai struggles to get back on his feet, Liz uses her flail to start throwing Yaya all around the battlefield, smacking her into the ground again and again, while the idiot Char sits on her ass, still not being able to believe what's happening. Liz the kinky hoe ties Yaya up with her freaky bondage ropes, while Char realizes that Sig is too hurt to fight right now. Suddenly Rai stands up once again, while Char tells him to back off, otherwise he will die. But Rai is a man and tells her to shut up and get back to the kitchen. He collects all the energy he had and rushes towards Felix to clock him in his punchable face, but Liz steps in between once again and throws him back. Rai manages to land on his legs. Felix is really amazed by his tenacity and offers to let him live if he promises to fight for him during the evening party, but Rai tells him to eat his ass, which frustrates Felix as he thought it was his little secret. He commands Liz to finish both Yaya and Rai off, but as Liz brings down her flail, Rai uses one final burst of energy and breaks the flail completely before powering Yaya up, who rushes towards Liz at an incredible speed and manages to land a kick to her face. But this time Yaya comes out on the top and kicks her away. Felix screams at Liz to keep fighting, so the battle continues in the air, but still Yaya comes out on top as she kicks her down to the ground once again. The fight continues in the forest at blinding speed, but as they come back into the open, Liz uses the age-old technique of farting in your opponent's face, which completely incapacitates Yaya's body mid-air. Felix laughs at Rai, claiming that this is the end since Liz ate Chipotle for lunch. Rai keeps his cool, however, and tells Yaya to punch the air with all her might, and it ends up working as the shockwave blows the gas away, while Liz falls to the ground, defeated. Rai decides to finish the battle right here, and now sends one final wave of mana into Yaya, who immediately rushes towards Liz at the speed of sound and lands such an incredible punch that her body literally evaporates in the night sky. Felix is shocked to see that he lost the battle, and tells Rai to let him go since he is the heir to his noble family and any harm to him would not be taken lightly. Rai doesn't really give a shit and walks towards Felix, who tries to stop him before pulling out a gun from his ass to shoot Rai in the face. But just like the Trump rally shooter, his aim is shit as he manages to miss point blank and gets clocked in the face by Rai, who drops him to the floor while Yaya screams "World Star." The nightmare is finally over as he hugs Yaya and gives Char a hand, who takes it, and they all head back to their dorms. The next morning a huge assembly is called where candidates of the evening party are going to be decided, and for his incredible show of strength against Felix, the chairman awards Rai with the opportunity to join the evening party as one of the Wiseman candidates. He is cheered by the other Wiseman candidates while Char walks through them and hands him a congratulatory gift for joining the evening party and also for saving her life. The gift turns out to be a silver amulet which has protective spells bound to it, and Char claims that he might need it if they ever come face to face during the Wise Man matches. A couple of days have passed by and Rai has fully recovered, but one morning when he was leaving for his classes, he finds a weird white-haired girl completely roped up onto the ceiling right outside his door. He helps her down and asks what the hell was she trying to do. She doesn't really reply clearly and just stares at them with her dog automation doll and suddenly takes out a basket of sandwiches, claiming that she made it for him. Rai refuses to try any since he is a Sigma, but even Sigmas have a heart, and her tears force him to call her inside, where he takes one of the sandwiches and bites it. Immediately, he starts coughing, asking what the hell did she put inside this? And the white-haired bitch calmly claims that she wanted to put sleeping powder but couldn't find any, so she put a lot of salt in it. He coughs up some more, telling her that even a rabid dog wouldn't eat something like that, when suddenly the girl walks back into the bathroom and takes a shower with her clothes on before coming back to the room and laying down on the bed. Rai wanted to scream at her for drenching his bed, but he was too confused of her bullshit to ask any questions. Yaya asks what the hell is she trying to do, and the white-haired girl calmly claims that she simply wanted to assassinate Rai before the evening party. Rai thinks that she might be autistic and kicks her out of the room before heading down to the breakfast table, where he finds Char waiting for him. He tells her all about the girl this morning, and Char immediately recognizes her as Frey, a third-year weirdo student who is ranked 99th in the entire school and is probably going to be his first match during the party since he is ranked 100th after defeating Felix. She claims that Frey must have realized that Rai is pretty strong, so she decided to finish him off before the party to lower her competition. Suddenly, they notice some movement outside and head out to see that Frey is trying to set up a trap for Rai to fall in, and as bait she is trying to use some old magazines. Rai looks at her confused, claiming that she should have left the codes for a 1-month membership of her OnlyFans, which might have worked. But the idiot bitch ends up locking herself inside the cage for absolutely no reason and then falls down like a total retard. Suddenly, a young white-haired man walks up to her and asks what the hell is she doing inside the cage. Char tells Rai that the man is known as Loki, the King of Swords, and is Frey's younger brother. Hearing that, Rai expects him to help her sister, but instead he grabs her by the collar and tells her to drop out of the party as he doesn't want his cool friends to see his dumbass sister. Frey tells him to eat shit as she is definitely going to take part, which enrages Loki, who immediately gets ready with his mecha doll to hurt his own sister. Frey immediately commands her dog automation and the battle begins. The doggy uses a dark air blast towards the mecha, who manages to dodge the attack and rushes towards the black dog for revenge. The mecha was about to slice the doggy into pieces like your Chinese neighbor, but Yaya intervenes at the last moment, stopping them both. Loki seems annoyed by this while Rai walks up to him, claiming that he can fight all he wants at the party. Loki doesn't seem very pleased with this and turns out to be a total racist from a Call of Duty lobby, telling Rai to know his place. They immediately start having a tiny dick measuring contest and get on each other's throats when Char arrives and puts an end to it by separating them with her light spears. Loki decides to let it go after realizing that Char is definitely on Rai's side and leaves with a warning to Rai, telling him to drop out of the party. After he was gone, Rai gets Frey out of her cage and asks why the hell was her brother so angry at her. But Frey doesn't want to answer that question and leaves. Rai gets really curious though and decides to find out more about her. So he goes all over the school asking after Frey, but it turns out that most of the school simply knows her as the girl with massive knockers. By the time evening comes, they still have no more information about her than they did in the morning. While Char starts getting insecure about her chicken breasts, she asks Rai about what does he like, chicken breasts or chicken thighs, hoping that he would say personality. But Rai is a true man of culture and claims that he likes himself a good set of massive honkers every now and then, but wouldn't turn away from a juicy Jayat either. This gets him a slap from Char, who leaves afterwards, while Rai wonders why these hoes are so hard to understand. The next morning, he is alone in the class dozing off while Kim tries to teach him. She tells him to pay attention since the evening party is coming very soon, and him being the lowest rank member in the party means that he is at the highest risk of getting hurt. Later that night, while he was sleeping, he gets woken up by a nightmare when he suddenly realizes that someone was in his bed. At first he thinks it was Yaya, but soon he hears Yaya from the other side of the room, who immediately turns the lights on, only to find Frey sleeping beside Rai in a latex suit. Rai immediately finds a knife inside her bodysuit, claiming she wanted to assassinate him, but Yaya slaps him in the face for touching a woman, while Rai curses the modern laws that don't care about the safety of men. A little while later, he goes outside to meet with Char, who tells him about some new information she just learned. She explains that both Loki and Frey belong to a very influential family from England, which is very evident from their fucked up teeth with which they ate baked beans on bread. but they are also sponsors to the British military, which means that their automation dolls might be the prototypes of the weapons that the British Army is creating. Moreover, she has also learnt that their family might have bribed and set matches here at the academy as well, which is totally against the rules and should get disqualified if revealed. Rai starts walking back while realizing that Loki did have ugly-ass teeth when he suddenly gets attacked from behind. He manages to evade the brunt of the damage, but still gets hit on the arm, drawing blood. He turns around to find out that the attacker was none other than Frey's dog. But something seemed wrong as Frey wasn't able to control her dog like so many fat American women who love owning a pit bull. The doggy goes rabid and attacks Rai, but he is prepared and uses a flashbang on its face to knock it out immediately, while Frey runs up to it wondering if his pet would be okay. Rai tells her not to worry as he would be fine, while she realizes that Rai is hurt and takes out her first aid kit to patch him up. Yaya spots this and runs out to confront Frey, who immediately runs away on top of her doggy. Before she could ask what the hell was happening, Rai gets hugged from behind by Kamu, who is Yaya's younger sister. He is shocked to see her here and they return back to her dorm, where Kamu claims that Shoko has sent her to go on an undercover mission with Rai. He is utterly devoted to an order of the MILF, so he gets up and channels his mana in Kamu, who makes both of them disappear as they walk to the nearby village and into a shed filled with dogs. Meanwhile, Rai ends up going out to meet Sig and asks whether he ever wanted to be a human. Sig tries to explain that Rai will love her regardless of whether she is a doll or not, which makes her a little happy. But her happiness is short-lived as she gets hit by an unknown attacker. While Yaya was bleeding on the ground, Rai was with Kamu inside the shed where they are approached by a talking dog named Yomi. Rai straight up asks whether she is the mother of the automation dolls outside and the dog belonging to Frey, and Yomi nods her head, claiming that she was forced to produce as many offsprings as possible so that they can have an army of dogs to sell. Rai realizes that she must be a band doll since she is able to use magic, even without the presence of a master nearby, which impresses her, as she didn't expect him to be this sharp. He tells her that he wants to know why the girl named Frey is trying to assassinate her. This catches the dog off guard, who herself wonders why the stupid would do something like that, and starts walking outside while telling Rai to follow her. Back in the academy, people start making a fuss about the injured doll, while Sig tells Yaya to stay awake as he will find some engineers to help her. Yaya tells him that it won't be of any use, as they can't repair her since she is built different, literally. Sig notices the bullet on the floor, wondering whether the Trump rally shooter came back with some practice, but there is no evidence to support that, so he starts looking around for someone to help. Thankfully, Char arrive at the location, shocked to see poor Yaya in such a state. She immediately tries to check for damage, but it is too much for her to handle, since Yaya looks nothing like a doll. Char tries to channel some of her mana through her, hoping that it would give her some energy to stop the bleeding, but she doesn't seem to be compatible with the doll and is thrown away to the floor. Yaya tells her that only Rai can handle the mana output she needs, and moreover Char is their opponent, so it would be dumb of her to try and help them. But Char tells her to shut up as she wants to defeat them fair and square at the evening party and tries channeling her mana again. Meanwhile, Yomi takes Kamu and Rai into a secret base where she shows him the room which belonged to Frey. It had pictures of her childhood, while Yomi claimed that she was the sweetest girl that she ever met and was very powerful in terms of her mana output. Because of that, she was given the strongest dog automation named Ravi. Rai is surprised at this, since very few people can have such an incredible amount of mana. But Yomi tells them to follow her as she can show them something even more surprising. She takes them further into an underground bunker, where Rai is shocked to see a bunch of capsules containing artificial human babies inside. Yomi looks at his face and claims that the British Army is trying to produce an army of kids with extremely high mana output who can control these automation dogs, which will make them one of the strongest forces in the world. Suddenly, the alarm starts ringing and Rai realizes that they have been discovered. He tries to find a way to escape, but Yomi tells them to follow her and moves towards the garbage disposal hole. She immediately jumps through it, followed by Rai and Kamu, escaping just in the nick of time before the guards arrive. They manage to escape scot-free into the sewer apart from Rai, who ends up getting hurt on the shoulders. But it's a minor wound, so they keep walking. Yomi suddenly comments that she now understands why Frey might be trying to kill him, and claims that if Frey loses the match, the military will probably dismantle and dispose of all the automation dogs and replace them with the newer angel models like that of Loki's, who are stronger but also difficult to control. Suddenly, they notice some men coming from the opposite direction and a fight ensues. Rai immediately rushes towards the first man, knocking him to the ground before kicking shit out of his automation doll. But before he could move on, He gets shot at by a 1920s gangster looking. Thankfully, Yomi knocks the gun out of the gangster, while Rai lands a gut punch and rushes to grab the gun on the floor. Suddenly, he gets attacked by another automation doll, but Yomi jumps in between, saving his life, while he immediately shoots back, dropping bodies. He immediately rushes towards her and decides that he can't leave her, so he carries her on his back and tries to climb out of the sewer with her. They still are getting pursued, however, so Yomi decides to offer herself as a sacrifice and jumps off Rai's back, down into the sewer, killing the men in an explosion in which she dies as well. This really saddens Rai as he comes out bruised and battered into his room and decides to rest up, as he is definitely going to take revenge against Floki, whose father has set up such exploitative farms to breed these poor automation dolls. The next night, the evening party begins, but instead of fighting against Char as was the plan, he decides to go directly for her brother Loki, who warns him to drop out of the tournament if he wants to stay alive. But Rai isn't scared so easily and immediately channels his mana into Yaya, who rushes towards the mecha automation and lands a huge combo before jumping up for an axe kick, which gets dodged by the mecha. This time the mecha goes on the attack, but Yaya manages to dodge them easily before grabbing both his swords, while Rai rushes towards him and lands a massive kick to its face. This gives Yaya an opening as well, and she lands a multiple kick combo, pushing the robot back. This time, however, Loki decides to go all out and converts his mecha into a huge sword, which starts attacking Yaya at an incredible speed. She manages to dodge the initial attacks, but ends up getting hit once. This scares Rai as he didn't want to lose Yaya just like he lost Yomi, so he commands her to simply dodge the attacks. But Yaya claims that they can't keep doing that. The sword attacks once again, but this time Rai ends up grabbing Yaya and turns around to protect her, and gets himself sliced by the sword and falls to the floor, wondering whether his adventure gets over right here tonight.
Take you out.